Have you taken a, are you saying, and then are you saying that the people of this country, Mr. Khurshid, you represent the people of this country and we don't, as in the media doesn't?
Absolutely.
Are you saying,
I'm saying
no, I take that as a given. I'm not contesting it.
Thank you.
You're elected, I'm not.
Thank you very much.
You're elected, I'm not.
Thank you very much.
But since you're elected, your responsibility is greater.
Absolutely.
And therefore the question is, are you saying the people of this country want to see Manmohan Singh, despite everything which has happened, and despite his promise to the people of this country who elected him that it would not be business as usual, that he goes around clinking glasses with Nawaz Sharif in New York, and the people of this country will be, well, you know, Manmohan Singh said it would not be business as usual for 2 or 3 months. Do you think the people of this country want that to happen, Mr. Khurshid?
What the people of this country want is something that will be reflected in what we do. And when we do it,
what will you do?
We will share it with you.
What will you do?
Not going to share it with you in advance, but when we do it, we will share it with you, because we do also accept that you have a responsibility in this country, that you have a representative capacity in this country. But of course, we think ours is much more than yours, which is why I'm not placing a heavy responsibility.
So tell me, Mr. Khurshid, say it clearly to me. You are talking at the prime ministerial level. You must be clear, because there are, because you are the foreign minister of India.
Absolutely.
Right? You must tell us, you must tell us, Mr. Khurshid, whether talks at the prime ministerial level will or will not happen. There is no point, Mr. Khurshid, avoiding this question anymore. There needs to be great clarity on this subject in the given situation.
You will get clarity, but I do believe that it's important for us today not to take a call, and certainly not take a call in public on issues that we are still factoring in, and our final decision is still to be taken. When that final decision gets taken, and you know that it will get taken at the level of the head of our government, the Prime Minister, we will share it with you. I hope and I wish that this being available to you, you would also help me analyze.
You must be clear.
I am clear.
You must tell us what can...
I'm clear. I'm not even telling you that I am talking. Forget about the Prime Minister. I'm not even telling you that I am prepared to talk. So why should I say anything about the Prime Minister?
Are you prepared to talk, Mr. Khurshid?
I'm saying I'm not even telling you that. I'm not even telling you that I am talking about talks today.
In the given situation, what is the situation about the talks, Mr. Khurshid? In the given situation today, where even in the last 24 hours, there have been 2 violations along the LOC and firing has still continued, Mr. Khurshid, at least you can be clear enough with me that if this situation continues, then is this an atmosphere for talks to happen in?
For me to say that this is not the atmosphere is not rocket science. You know that unless the atmosphere is conducive, unless our concerns get addressed, unless we factor in that our national interest demands that we should now move forward, obviously we will take a decision which is contrary to what you are hoping.
But I'm specific, Mr. Khurshid, so that the people who are watching this get a sense of how you are thinking. So the question to you is, what makes a conducive or a non-conducive atmosphere?
A lot of things.
Am I to understand correctly that you're saying there should be no infiltration attempts? There should be no pushing of terrorists from across the border? There should be no provocation from the Pakistani side, and if there's a single provocation from the Pakistani side, then you do not consider it worthwhile to talk at a high political level.
Let's not talk about single and double and multiple, but whatever you are saying, the terms and references that you believe are relevant to a decision of this nature, I think are correct. They are. But there is more to this. There is also something of delivery on what happened in Mumbai. There's accountability that's called for. Accountability for Mumbai is called for. Of course, we need to see delivery. We need to see dismantling of the infrastructure of terrorism. All these things are not going to be given a go by our government. I can assure you, in the national interest, all this will remain relevant to the dying day for
You're saying that, Mr. Khurshid, the reports are that your government has taken 2611 off the agenda for the proposed talks in New York.
I don't know where you get these reports. These are not, the Foreign Minister of India doesn't know that there is any such report. May I just urge you to be sure that the sources that give you this information are sources that are not pushing a personal agenda for destroying a relationship between India and its neighbors? Is it possible that there are people who want this? Answer is yes. There are people who want to destroy our relationship with our neighbors.
You were
but
saying,
we are not going to let them.
You were saying something that's the context in which I asked you.
Yeah.
In response to a very specific question about the circumstances and the conditions which lay the ground for talks, you said, Mr. Khurshid, to me just a while back, that 2611 and delivery on 2611 is one of the most important issues. I want you to be more specific on that. Because Hafiz Saeed is going around,
Yeah,
and you
of
have seen the most acidic, vitriolic,
Yeah.
unacceptable speeches from him in which he calls for jihad localized and spread across
Yeah,
the entire country. I want you to be
absolutely.
specific on Hafiz Saeed.
I'm saying to you this is unacceptable. I'm saying to you that even when Pakistan says that we need evidence, there is evidence of the nature that they cannot today refute. There's evidence that's been produced and accepted by their own courts. That evidence at least must deliver, if not the entire delivery that we want today, at least deliver a substantial amount of that. There has to be delivery of accountability. We want that delivery, we must get that delivery. But to say that, oh, but this doesn't include X and this doesn't include Y, we will come to X and Y as well.
The core person is Hafiz Saeed, isn't it?
Who?
The critical issue is Hafiz Saeed, or are you talking about something else?
Hafiz Saeed is a core person, but we've given enough evidence at least to get such associates of Hafiz Saeed as are today being tried in Pakistan. At least let's have delivery on that.
Delivery isn't? Deliver them to India.
Deliver them to India or try them and punish them. It's very clear. We've been saying this all along. Let's have delivery there. This is not something that is going to be bypassed. Now let me tell you something. We did have, after the new government came to power, we had several occasions where we spoke to people who were responsible persons on the Pakistani side, special envoy, people who were representing the government on foreign policy. And this is the point we made to them repeatedly. And I can tell you this with all honesty, that not once did anyone hedge, not once did anyone say that this is not something we'll be able to do. And the most important statement that I believe that was made at that time to us was that the Prime Minister of Pakistan will insist that everybody in Pakistan involved in administration, government or any other agency remains on the same page as him. Now, this is a statement which was made to me. This is a statement I believe would have been repeated to other leaders as well. This is a statement that we did accept at face value. But today, when we compare the statement with what has happened, I can't say to you that I have 100% faith that statement will hold good. But we have to see. There was that statement. There is a counterproductive action that has happened in recent weeks. We need to put everything together. We need to look at the balance sheet and then finally decide whether the balance sheet remains in the positive or the negative.
Mr. Khurshid, don't mind my saying, I think you're taking the easier option. I'll tell you why. I've listened to everything you've said extensively, and I think you're making a good and solid point. What I hear you say...
That's more than you've said to anybody else in recent weeks, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Khurshid.
That's only because I've offered to come on your program and present myself.
Which I think is very good. Which I think is excellent. I appreciate it as well.
I'm happy to do an every evening program with you. I have no problem at all.
One of us will get a migraine. Our question here is this, Mr. Khurshid. I hear you say that if not Hafiz Saeed, now tell me if I understand, if not Hafiz Saeed, then the other associates, people whose names have appeared in 2611 in the trial, there must be some movement on the cases against them.
If not Hafiz Saeed now,
if not Hafiz Saeed now,
in future again, Hafiz Saeed also is to be accountable. But if they say there's not enough evidence that our courts can accept, there is evidence that their courts are accepting. So let's move on that front.
With the others.
Yeah.
Right? Now, question here is, why I feel, pardon my saying so, that you're taking the easier option out is A, because you're letting Hafiz Saeed off the hook. And
Not?
What is your position on Hafiz Saeed?
No.
On the speeches of Hafiz Saeed? You didn't answer that.
Our position, it's not the speeches of Hafiz Saeed. It's the evidence we have on Hafiz Saeed. We've given that evidence.
But they've not accepted the evidence.
Well,
they've called it fiction.
According to them, their courts haven't accepted it. Let's see. So we said, fine. If the courts haven't accepted it, let us look at the evidence that the courts are accepting. At least there you can deliver. The point is that the delivery must begin.
At a very, I would say at a very, at a very tertiary, initial, nascent stage of the legal process, there may be some delivery. And that, however, in the absence of getting Hafiz Saeed to stop making those kind of comments which he has, and the fact that he's a free man, making those speeches and openly inflaming passions in Pakistan is not good enough, Mr. Khurshid. And you asked me, that's point number one.
I didn't say it was good enough. I didn't say it's good.
It seems good enough for your prime ministers to meet. You're making that.
I'm not. Again, you bring me back to the prime ministers to meet.
Yes.
I am not making an announcement. I am not even disclosing to you what stage of our analysis has reached. All I am saying is that every objective factor that should go in the larger national interest is what will dictate the Prime Minister's decision.
You are basically looking, Mr. Khurshid, for something positive to come out of Pakistan, which may prove to be a basic justification for the Prime Minister of India to continue meeting Nawaz Sharif in New York. And the question is this, you said to me, who's your source? Who told you that 2611 is a precondition? You have read the Hindustan Times report where Sartaj Aziz has gone on record August 6th to say that India was not going to keep the talks conditional on Pakistan's 2611
This is a report that somebody makes of a conversation they had with Sartaj Aziz. But I can tell you...
Has Sartaj Aziz denied the conversation?
I can tell you as India's foreign minister that my conversations with him have been entirely different. Now, would you accept a stray report in the Hindustan Times or any other paper, or what the India's foreign minister is telling you?
I would accept what very informed sources in the Pakistan's Prime Minister's office, not just the advisor on security and national affairs, have told the Times Now team as well. And that is exactly this, that there is no precondition on 2611.
No. I am sorry. There is this issue of preconditions and non-conditions. Let's not get lost in words. Very categorically and very authoritatively, I am telling you this, that this is a major issue. When and if we talk to Pakistan at any level, this is a major issue. This issue will have to be addressed by Pakistan. It's been there all along. It will be there, and it will be there till we get satisfaction.
What is satisfaction? Hafiz Saeed.
Satisfaction.
Getting Hafiz Saeed to justice.
Today's delivery. I am saying begin delivery. I'm not even saying complete delivery today. I am saying begin delivery. We will then judge whether there is substantial delivery, whether it's quick enough, it's coming in the right direction, and perhaps then we can see what more we can do.
You're working in a calibrated manner. Why is it so important, Mr. Salman Khurshid? You know, since 2611, there have been a series of meetings with Pakistan. Has there been any substantial outcome out of any of these talks? And am I right in assessing that your government begins to believe that whatever before the next general elections, before the 2-month, 3-month period before general election where the focus is only on politics, say February, now we're August. Am I right in assessing that your government and your Prime Minister feels there are only 6 months more in which you can do something historic? And this has been written about all the time. The Prime Minister hopes to make history with Pakistan. But a personal...
We hope to make history by coming back to power for the third time, the UPA 3. But obviously something you may not endorse right away. Perhaps you'll take a little bit longer to endorse it. But anyway...
I wouldn't endorse any political party in any way.
Well, you should for something that's good for the country. You should.
That's your assessment.
If it's not good for the country, I'll come back and talk to you again and see why you think it's not good for the country.
I'm not here to take
a position
on that. Let's go to the subject.
You take position on everything else. Why can't you take position on this?
My question is...
It's only an attempt to persuade you to do the right thing for this country. Anyhow, don't do it, doesn't matter. Important thing is that international relations with your neighbors, relations with Pakistan, when will they become in the public domain something significant and important, be it election time or non-election time? It's difficult to predict. But whenever they are important, we must address them. Whenever they impinge upon domestic and international politics, we must address them.
Why don't you display the kind of steel and spine
that
and you won't like this as well, that Pakistan displayed when its soldiers were killed in accidental killing by NATO forces? And Mr. Khurshid, let me explain this, for all our viewers who may not be aware of what had happened at that time. Pakistan immediately blocked NATO routes in Pakistan as forcing an expression of regret from America. Once after the beheading of the Indian soldiers, on the contrary, your Prime Minister said, after this dastardly act, there can't be business as usual with Pakistan. Then you immediately go and you roll the red carpet. You have that lavish lunch with the Pakistani Prime Minister, even after the Hyderabad blast. So, Mr. Khurshid, why don't you look at how Pakistan itself responded to the United States and the NATO after it happened
these are
there?
very difficult. These are very difficult questions.
No, these are very.
No.
The comparison is direct.
I know that there's no direct comparison. I don't think that we should compare ourselves with what happened between Pakistan and the US. I think there are, if you were to talk to Pakistanis, they will have a lot more to say to you
they say.
than you are reporting today. But let me just put this down.